Welcome. I'd like to call this Finance Committee meeting to order. The first thing we have is assignment for request for council action. We have several for finance. We have 28-181, zoning map amendment, professional building. I said 25, I'm sorry. 25-182, resolution of support Medina County Park District proposed levy. 25-183, electric aggregation program. 25-184, expenditure for Lake County Sewer Co. Street Department. 25-185, 2026 material bids. 25-186, bids for job number 1160 Blake Avenue reconstruction. 25-187, MOU with Medina County Job 1160 Blake Avenue reconstruction. 25-188, preliminary agreement with Wheeling and Lake Erie Railroad Blake Avenue. 25-189, amend ordinance 9725, bids for job number 1151 US 42 resurfacing. 25-190, accept easements for 549 South Court Street. The first item we have is 25-181, zoning map amendment for the professional building. Mr. Dutton.
Thank you, Mr. President. So this is a zoning map amendment to change the zoning of properties at 120 and 124 West Washington Street. That's the professional building, from PF, Public Facilities, to C2, which is Central Business. So the properties are currently owned by Medina County Board of Commissioners, but will be sold to Uptown West, a private entity. So the PF zoning is generally for city buildings, county buildings, schools, things of that nature. The C2 building is the zoning of the majority of properties in the downtown area. You can see on the map, all properties around this site are zoned C2, so it would fit right in with what's in the area. The Planning Commission reviewed the proposal at their September 11th meeting and unanimously recommended approval. And as you're aware, the zoning map amendment will require a public hearing. This is also a pretty straightforward rezoning request. So as the previous request with the St. Francis rezoning, I would ask the council waives the 3 readings. Thank you.
Thank you. So when, the public hearing will be at the next meeting?
I don't think it's been scheduled yet. So
Because I don't think we take any action right now.
Yeah, we'll need 30 days
Yeah.
before the public hearing to get the notice out.
Okay. So I guess we wait for the public hearing. Right, everybody? Okay. All right, thank you, Andrew. 25-182, resolution of support for Medina County District, Park District proposed levy. I did receive a call from the Park District, and, you know, they have a levy coming up to, and I think is it attached here? The renewal and increase, there's a slight increase of a 0.25 mil and a 1 mil renewal. And I know that how many years was this again? It was, last time they had it on the ballot was 10 years, 2015, all right? So 2015, and so this is kind of a renewal with a slight increase, and the increase is 0.25. And I think if you look at this, it's not that much of an increase. Would be, I think the whole thing is $31 per 100,000 value, so the 0.25 is I think $5 or $6 or $5 per 100,000. And I know that the parks do a lot of great things for the county. You know, I don't know how everybody feels about it, but you know, he wanted me to bring it up. Nate Epic wanted me to bring it up, so here it is.
They also do a lot of great things with us as far as Lake Medina.
Right.
And I mean, I feel like they're one of our partners here that we've been able to collaborate with, so I'd be in favor of it.
Me too. Yep, absolutely.
All right, so is there a motion?
I'll move to
It's a resolution of support.
a resolution of support.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, 25-183 is the electric aggregation program. And where is Nino? He was here, he has a... Oh,
You didn't know we were starting early.
yeah, well, I get it. The agenda was 5:30. Maybe there's some confusion with the start. I guess there's somebody who's supposed to speak to us this evening, too,
Oh,
on that. Welcome, Mr. Popoli.
Oh, thanks. Yes, go.
So is the gentleman coming at 6? Yeah. All right, well, he'll be we'll put him at the end of the agenda.
I'm sorry, I thought we were starting at 6 PM
That's all right. There's not, the time change happens in a couple more weeks, so you'll be all right. Okay, so let's move on to 25-184 expenditure for Lake County Sewer Co. for the street department. You're on the hot seat again already. He's ignoring us already.
Oh, good, thanks. Good, thanks.
I know. Yeah, no hurry, you're next on the list here. This is the Lake County Sewer Co. for the street department, the expenditure for that
Yes, sir.
particular one.
So, thank you, Mr. President. So every year we have numerous storm sewer issues in the infrastructure that are deep or under pavement that are precarious for excavation and repair. And we like to secure PO with this company because they come in, they televise, and they're able to do it without excavation, clean and grout the joints. And again, thank you for the consideration.
Okay. Any other questions for this 25-184?
Move to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 25-185, 2026 material bids.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm prepared for this one, so.
Good.
The material bids, typically we do them in February, but it creates a little bit of angst with respect to the finance department, and I understand because our POs run from January to December. So when we were doing these material bids, because of salt and what have you, with the opportunity, we would run those POs through the following year. And understanding Keith's office, closing the PO, let's say example, in 25 in February is what we need to do. So again, to align the POs with the calendar year, we are going to start the bidding that we will be ready from January to December, if that makes sense. So that's why we're a little early for the material bids for 2026. Thank you.
Understood. Any other questions?
Move to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 25-186 bids for job number 1160 for Blake Avenue reconstruction. Patrick?
Thank you. Just note, this item and the next two all deal with Blake reconstruction. This is a request to authorize us to bid the project. We did get an Ohio Public Works grant in the amount of $485,000 and our share would be $213,000. Didn't know Medina County would like us to replace their sewers during this project. Their share would be $102,000. Couple things we need council's input on. As with a couple other projects we've done, Prospect Street and South Harmony, this street is narrower than our typical section. Blake, if you've been down it, you know it's in terrible shape. It doesn't have a consistent width, but anywhere from 18 to 22 feet. We recommend that we authorize reconstructing it as a 21-foot roadway, which is the same as Prospect and Harmony. And the second thing is we did include a design where we added some pavement areas to provide for public parking. We think public parking is needed in this area. With the narrow street, of course, you can't accommodate public parking. The cost to include the public parking area is estimated at $20,300. That's less than it would be to do a 25-foot street the whole length. So those are our two recommendations for this.
And when you widen the street, you're talking curbs and storm sewers and...
Sidewalks?
There will be sidewalks, yeah. Curbs, yeah. Curbs and storm sewer and water line, sanitary sewer, everything.
So the difference, what was the difference again you mentioned between the 21-foot street and the 25?
Well, no, the $20,300 I mentioned is what it would cost to widen the pavement where we can to accommodate public parking.
Where we can.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not the whole length, it just doesn't work out that way.
And why wouldn't we do that?
The 25 feet?
Yeah, in the spots that we can?
To
why-
do that, it would increase the cost of the project because elevation-wise, you're tied into these existing driveways and sidewalks are graded down to that 18 to 22-foot width.
But you said it was $20,000 difference.
$20,000 to add the
parking.
public parking.
Okay, then we don't know the cost if we go to 25 in those areas, what it would cost, it'll be an additional cost that we
It
don't know?
would be additional cost above that.
That we don't know.
I can provide it for you, I don't know it offhand.
Well, I guess if we gotta make a decision, we need to know that, right?
Well, I don't think he's
But you're
recommending that we
saying
go
you
to
can't do it the
You're
whole
not recommending to
street.
go to the 25?
Right.
Not the
No,
whole
I
street,
recommend
no.
staying at the 21.
Because the cost, I
Because of
guess
the
you're saying
cost
that.
and you're, We would have to
driveways.
grade everything differently because you think of people's aprons.
Yes.
Those aprons, if we pushed it back to a full 25, all of a sudden,
It'll
not
be
only
too
the
steep.
aprons, but part of their driveways would have to be regraded.
Because it's too
Um,
steep.
It can be done, it's just
Okay,
more cost.
I wasn't sure what you were saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody have any questions?
So there'll be certain sections that are 25 feet wide that will allow for.
Actually, they're a little more than 25, but yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, okay. Any other questions?
All right, so Patrick, we're passing a motion for it to be 20 foot, 21
21
foot
foot.
wide with some public parking where you can
Correct.
add
yes.
that in. Okay, that's my motion.
And that'd be my second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. 25-187 MOU for with Medina County for job number 1160 Blake Avenue. Patrick?
Thank you. As with all projects where the county wants us to replace their sewers, we do a memorandum of understanding with them, and that's what this is. Basically, they agree that we will put it in, pay for it, and then send them a bill for it.
And Mr. Huber looked at this?
This particular one, I don't think he has.
Well,
done
he
this
probably
several-
has to, so I guess
Yeah.
subject.
We've- This is a standard one we've done 3 or 4 times the last couple of
Yeah,
years.
but if you don't get Mr. Huber involved.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, why don't we just say, move to approve subject to final approval of the law director?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 25-188 preliminary agreement with Ween and Lake Erie Railroad for Blake Avenue.
Part of this Blake Avenue project is storm sewer, so we're gonna have to run the storm sewer from Blake down Medina Street, and we're gonna tie it into an existing storm sewer that goes under the railroad, but it's within the railroad's right of way, so they require us to do this permit.
Of course. Any other questions?
That's what I was trying to figure out, Patrick, because the railroad is obviously around the corner and down a bit then. But
Correct,
that's-
yeah.
That's how far you'll be going down
Correct, yeah.
Medina Street
Yeah.
then.
And I don't think, the number 6 indemnification, and I'm just reading this quickly, I don't think there, did Huber look at this?
He has this one. I know, I
Okay.
don't know if he's read it, but he definitely has it.
All right, so we gotta still make it subject to,
Subject to
yeah.
final. Okay, move to approve subject to final approval of the law director.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 25-189 amend ordinance 9725 bids for job number 1151 US 42 resurfacing. Patrick?
Thank you. Council previously authorized us to bid this project. We did bid it in July. Unfortunately, no bids were submitted. So we got together with ODOT, our consultant, changed a couple things in the plans, and the recommendation was to redo the estimate. They thought our estimate was a little too tight and probably scared some folks off. Plus, they wanted to change the MOT and stuff like that, but end result is the project estimate is now $217,600 more than the previous approval. So we're asking authorization to increase the amount authorized to a total of $2,143,600.
And this is from what streets again?
US 42.
This one is US 42, it's starting north of Homestead, kind of by Waits, all the way down to Lafayette Road, then all 4 sides of the square, and it includes the pedestrian bump outs, the safety enhancements around the square.
Okay.
We did get two grants, totaling $1.4 million for this.
Okay.
Move to approve to amend the amount?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 25-190 sanitary sewer easements at 549 South Court Street. Patrick?
As council may remember, there's a sanitary sewer that runs on the west side of Court Street. It had to be relocated as across the hotel property. A hotel did do that. There's 3 parcels north of that also serves. 2 of those parcels have agreed to grant us an easement. The county actually already got these easements, and they pay for them, it's their responsibility, and they've already been recorded, so this is kind of after the fact approval. They should have came to us first, but it's the two easements on Court Street. There's also one on 549 South Court Street that has to do with a house, again, in the same situation. There's a sanitary sewer that runs north and south on the west side of Court Street, no existing easement. I believe a house there burned down several years ago, and now they're reconstructing a new house. The county wanted us to get an easement before we proceeded, so that's what this is for.
Questions?
So, Patrick, they're still working on the third property?
The third one's been signed, but it has not been recorded yet.
Okay, but they
And
did
these
make-
are all 100% county costs. We don't have to pay anything for them.
But they were able to make an agreement with all three then?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Move to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, Mr. Burkholdy, what time's your gentleman coming?
So Ben Rich was going to come here about 5:45 to answer any questions with respect to electric aggregation, but we could still talk about this briefly, and then I didn't
Well,
know,
what we could do is we could recess into executive session,
That's-
come out, reconvene, and he'll be
that's what I
here.
was going to ask. If you could do that, that would be awesome.
Okay, we could do that.
Okay. I'm assuming Greg and the mayor are joining us?
I think this is collective bargaining, I would say yes.
Okay.
And as far as land acquisition, Jansen
And Andrew?
and Andrew.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we go into executive session at 5:46 PM for two purposes: to consider the purchase of property for a public purpose. A premature disclosure of information would give an unfair competitive bargain advantage to a person whose personal or private interest is adverse to the public interest. And the second reason is for the preparing for, conducting, or reviewing negotiations or bargaining sessions with public employees, considering their compensation or other terms and conditions of their employment, to include the mayor, the law director, Jansen Worley, and Andrew Dutton.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Simmons.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Sorry. Hare and Simmons.
Yes.
Simmons.
Yes.
We'll be recessing into executive session to discuss the two items that Mr. Shields mentioned. We're returning back into Finance Committee, not taking any action of what was discussed in the executive session, but we will be completing 25-183, the electric aggregation program, and then we'll adjourn from Finance and move on to Council. We are in recess. Okay, we're going to reconvene back into the Finance Committee. We just came out of executive session. I don't know if you want to put that
I
on.
was going to say, Kathy, 6:40 PM is when we exited executive session to return to finance.
Okay.
Okay. And we have one item left on the finance agenda to address, and that's item 25-183, the electric aggregation program. So, Mr. Pacoli?
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you for your rearranging your schedule on our confusion here on my end, and appreciate that. So the city of Medina here, we've been in the electric aggregation business since 2008. Been served well. First contract was for about 9 years. It goes to 2017, and ensuing several other contracts and extensions. So we are in our current program until May of '26, and we're at 7.37 cents a kilowatt hour. Not sure where the market's going to go. I think the residents have been served well. The city, again, as I spoke about the first 9 years, received a grant for $306,000. That money was spent on well-warranted projects with lighting and different things. So going forward with the other contracts, we had, I believe, $30,000 in one contract and about $33,000 in another. I think in our last contract, we chose with Ben's, Mr. Rich, his recommendation to get back to the community and afford as much of a discount to the folks as we can, and I think that's where we might go in the next round. So with saying that, I'd like to introduce Ben Rich. He's been helpful for all these years since the beginning of my experience with the aggregation program, very knowledgeable. And again, that was my request to enter an agreement with Ben and his company here, Great Lakes Energy Brokers, for the next round of contracts that are up and coming. So,
Yeah, Ben, you can go to a chair right here if you like, and just hit the mic button and turn it on.
How's that?
thank you. So Ben Rich is our counsel.
Yeah, thanks, Nino. Thanks for having me out here tonight. I appreciate it. As Nino said, I kind of started 2006 with First Energy down in downtown Akron. I worked in the Rate and Regulatory Affairs Department down there for a great guy by the name of Dave Blank. He was an industry genius, and I really got to learn from him. Got thrust in day 2. He told me to pack my bags. You're going to Pennsylvania. We have a rate case going on, so it was a little intimidating at first, but got to work there for about 2 years, and then I had an opportunity to work for an internal consulting group called Business Analytics. We went all over the company working with different departments to kind of help them out, look at their processes, look at efficiencies and ways that we can improve. And one of my stops was First Energy Solutions, and we were just coming into retail. And they put me on a project to look at the headroom analysis in AEP Power and see if we could sell there. And while I was working there, I found this group called Governmental Aggregation, and it sounded pretty cool. So there was an opening there, and I jumped over to them, and I've been there since. It's been about 15 years. I I resigned from the company when they were bought by Vistra about 1.5 years ago, and started a broker consultant group helping communities with their aggregation program. And that's where I am today with Great Lakes Energy Brokers. So as Nino said, the market has been pretty wild lately, and I've got some stuff that I'll leave, it's a couple 3-4 page white paper, and then kind of a presentation that sums up that really boring white paper. And essentially what it boils down to is what we're seeing in the market is with any other commodity, it's supply and demand. There have been a great amount of thermal retirements. And when I say thermal retirements, it's your coal, your natural gas plants. And with those retirements, there hasn't been any shovel-ready projects that have taken their place. So the supply has been dwindling steadily over the past 9 years. With that, as far as industries go, it's been almost overnight that data centers and cryptocurrency mining and other energy-intensive businesses have popped up. I was telling Nino earlier before I left, we had a company that had an electric bill of $12 million a month. It was that high. So they're putting a tremendous strain on the grid, which is causing capacity prices and capacity auctions to go up. 2 years ago, the capacity auction cleared 293% higher than it had the previous year when we were seeing very competitive rates in Ohio. And then just this past year, they set an upper limit, the PUCO set an upper limit of like $320, and the capacity auction came in right at the ceiling. All that has led to energy prices to nearly double from their lows of 4 years ago. So we were selling $45 to $50 power. Now it's $85 to $95 power, and Ohio Edison is at $95 for their price to compare. And probably by next summer, we'll see $100 megawatt hour. So there's still room to save by shopping the load out. There were a couple this week that I did in the Ohio Edison territory that were about the $85 range. So about $10 a megawatt hour, which equates to typical resident in the city of Medina uses about a megawatt hour a month. So, you know, $10 to $15 a month of savings through the aggregation program, which is good. I always recommend zero ETF, no early termination fees. That way, the aggregation program kind of serves as a good base program for everybody. It's going to save them money. If they did nothing, they would save money on the aggregation program. But certainly they should be free to shop if another program comes out on Apples to Apples or Mass Market and they want to go to it. With the zero ETF, they can leave at any time. And then, hey, maybe in 3 months it was not what they thought, they could come right back into the program. A lot of communities ask for civic grants through the aggregation program. I have some that like that, some that don't. Just being completely transparent, it is a pass-through cost, so whatever the supplier gives you in a grant, they'll just add it right to the price of the electricity. But, so what we're looking at right now for a May renewal for the city of Medina, when you look at a May contract, really it's a calendar cycle, so it starts, someone the size of Medina has pretty much someone on all 30 cycles. So you're going to start at April 15. So then you have to work 21 days back from April 15. For the opt-out period, there's a 10-day waiting period with the PUCO after you file your letters. All that backs you up into like a February timeframe. What my recommendation is, you don't want to wait until the winter months, because what happens in the winter, it gets cold, you have a cold snap, people are flipping their furnaces on, spot prices go through the roof, and then you're in a position where you have to make contract because you're running out of time, and people are going to go back to the utility if they don't, and you've got higher prices than you want. Really, the fall is a good time because it's kind of in that intermediate between the air conditioning season and the heating season. Of course, there's always a chance for hurricanes that'll cause some spot pricing issues, but generally speaking, October, November is a good time to renew aggregation programs, and that's what I recommend to my clients that I work with. So, without getting too much further in the weeds, does anybody have any questions?
My only question is, when is the next bid going out again to determine the price of kilowatt hour? Don't they bid it out every so often, or is there, like?
Yeah, it'll be a while for the next. So it's a third, and a third. So I believe 26 is locked in. So what we're looking at now is 27 load or capacity. I'll check. I'll find out when the
And what is 26? Like we're at 7.3. What is 26?
Oh, I'm sorry.
7.37.
Yeah, you're at 737. So your program is May of 2026 is when that 737 expires. So the next contract would take place after that.
And what is the rate of that right now? Because you said we're locked in for 26. What is it at now?
I misspoke. I thought you were talking about the capacity auction, which,
sorry.
yeah, sorry. That's for Ohio Edison's price.
Oh, okay. And what is do we have the May price now? I mean, what is it? What do you anticipate it to be?
So right now, where deals have been closing are the like $85 to $87 a megawatt hour range.
So that'll be 870. Is that what we're talking about?
Yes.
Because we're at
That's
730.
megawatt.
So we're at 870, so it's another $1.50.
Per megawatt, so about $1.50 a month.
And what, beyond that, what does it look like? Do you have any guess? I mean, what does the future look like? Are they thinking 10? Because you mentioned 100, so that'll be 10.
Yeah, so 24 and 36 months are a couple dollars higher than that. So if you did a 24-month deal, say, because, you know, no one has a crystal ball, but everybody assumes that this isn't going to go away overnight, because the way you make it go away is you have generation into the market, or you do energy efficiency, which reduces the demand. So being that most people are baking the highest capacity price they can into their price for the 24-month of the periods that we don't know. So most people are going 12 months right now, just because we don't know what's going to happen in the future. We're kind of doing 12 month at a time now, until we can get some clarity on where things are going.
And is that 85 to 95, is if we do it as a city, but what if we join in with other cities or the county, do we get, is it a lower rate?
Not really, no.
A lot to think about.
The City of Medina actually has a really good load factor as far as communities goes, and that's has to do with when you use your electricity. When you get into larger cities, they tend to use it during peak hours more, and that brings the price up a bit. City of Medina has pretty good, so if you did join with other communities, you'd want to make sure it was someone that had a similar or even a better load factor that would help the group as a whole.
So you mean load factor, like during the day, since we have a lot of commuters, our load factor during the day is lower, and then
When spot pricing's higher.
Right.
And that's a shape that's created by the suppliers. When they give you a price for your aggregation program, they will specifically shape the City of Medina's price. That's why, you know, communities are all different. The county's gonna look different than the city. You know, City of Akron, just a little bit away, is gonna look a lot different than City of Medina, for instance, because.
And I assume COVID changed us a little bit, right? Because a lot more people are working at home and the load factor is different now, I'd imagine, a little bit.
Yeah, COVID did have an impact on prices, yeah.
All right, so we have to, I guess the next step would be to think about what we want to do and how we want to approach it as council, and, you know, in the next meeting or two, and figure out what, how we want to proceed.
And you recommend between now and November, we should be making our decision, or the
Yeah.
sooner the better? Or?
Yeah, it is sooner the better. You know, not to put any undue pressure or anything like that, but once you get into late November, if you start getting early snow and things like that, you know, that's the kind of stuff that'll drive pricing.
Prices up.
Yeah.
But shouldn't that change us, because we're going to have a different load factor? Wouldn't that, when you say the spot pricing, I mean, when it drives it up, I mean, don't they look at history a little bit? Because what you're saying is they really don't, they just look at the time of year you do it, not over the whole year, as far as pricing is concerned.
What they do is they make a shape, and it's community specific, so they'll shape your community, but then they'll use spot pricing for that day, and they'll put that pricing into the shape, if that makes sense. So there's two different, your spot pricing on electricity is determined by weather, time of year, supply and demand. So if it's a shoulder month, like September, October, November, when air conditionings aren't on, heaters aren't on, that's gonna affect the energy price. Your shape is gonna stay your shape. That's what they plug the energy price into to come up with that. You get a time of day, you get a on-peak and off-peak price from the electricity price, and then they'll shape it that way. It's kind of
I mean, I guess my only question would be, why wouldn't everybody do it in October then?
because people have different. Not everybody's a May renewal, for instance.
Well, if we could do it in October or a May renewal, are you saying we can lock in for 6 months?
You can lock in starting in May of '26 when your old one ends. You don't want to touch that 737 because that's better than you'll be able to do right now. So you definitely want to keep that 737 through May. What you would be doing in October is seeking a price for 12, 24, or 36. You get all of those and just take a look at them out of May of '26 for the next one.
I was going to say, Ben, and, you know, I appreciate you've got a long history with us here, but you're on your own now. If somebody said to me, why stick with Ben? Why don't you bring somebody else in and see if they can do better for the city? What would be your answer to that?
Well, so I have a good relationship with the four big suppliers, that being Constellation, Archer Energy, Dynegy, and AEP Retail. So I take the load factor, or I take the list and the 15 months of usage, and I'll send it out to my four supplier contacts. They'll supply it, so you'll get to look at actually four different prices from four different suppliers. And, you know, when you go out on your own and do that, and you just ask one company, just being frank, if they know they're not competing against three other suppliers, then they're gonna say, well, here's your price, take it or leave it, right? So you wanna shop the load out, and that's kind of what I do. I'm gonna go out to four different suppliers, and I'm gonna, you know, have them send me their pricing, send me their terms, send me their options, because some of them have different grant structures if you're interested in a grant. Some have, you know, if you want green pricing, they can do an opt-in green for those residents that don't, you know, your base program, your opt-out program, your default program is standard, but there's a green option for people that want to participate. So it's, and you kind of get I'll give a couple page summary on every bid from every supplier, and you could take a look and make a decision on that.
Well, the only question is, did you mention, like, is First Energy one of those four? Because I didn't hear that name.
They're not, because they are your utility. That won't change. They'll always be Ohio Edison on the distribution side. This is the generation portion, which happened for deregulation, that you can shop. There is no First Energy deregulated company anymore. They were First Energy Solutions, and then they went bankrupt. They were purchased by Energy Harbor, and then Energy Harbor was purchased by Dynegy, who was owned by Vistra.
I got you.
How does that work with coordinating with another municipality to try to get a lower rate?
That would be something I would do, because I work with like 10 to 12 different clients, and you can aggregate the aggregations together and then send out one RFP for all of them, and then have a best and final pricing on that.
But you can go on your own if your number's lower than the other ones, because there's no advantage of the other communities to pull us with them if ours is higher.
Correct.
Yeah.
And we don't know when their contracts are up either, so there may not be any that can go with us.
So you then would provide a list of these communities that you would be looking into to congregate these numbers?
Yeah, I can tell you, I can send you a list.
Okay.
Ben, I apologize if I missed it. So I understood at the beginning, you're saying this has gone up in the last 4 years, and the horizon is it's going to continue to go up. So my question is, well, why are people looking at 12-month if they can lock it in at 24 or 36?
Yeah.
And avoid some of the future increases, at least for that block of time?
Yeah, a lot of communities are just hoping that it'll come down over time, that either there'll be some kind of a regulatory fix, or, you know, and I don't see it happening, but if there are some projects, I know they talked about de-mothballing some coal plants that had previously been shut down, that could provide some relief. I don't know if that's going to happen. So it's, a lot of people want to go that 12 months and hope that something's going to happen to bring it back down again. But I agree with you. If you can get a reasonable 36-month deal, it's worth it to look at. I always provide a bevy of options, 12, 18, 24, 36, and then you can look at them all. You can look at the difference between them and kind of make your own decision.
But having been in this industry for so long, I mean, what you're projecting is that even if they said tomorrow, you know, we're going to unmothball some of these things, that's not something that's going to happen in the next short term, correct?
Yeah, I will tell you, my gut tells me that is not going to happen, but I'm always afraid to say it's definitely not going to happen, because, you know, I was selling $50 power for a while, and then it went up to $70, and you know, everyone was saying, well, you're never going to see 50 again, and it went to 40. So you just never know. You know, you had mentioned COVID. There's crazy things that can happen on any given day. You would be surprised how much war between Russia and Ukraine affected energy prices in our country as well because of liquefied natural gas being offshored and that kind of stuff. So things pop up all the time. Without a crystal ball, it's hard to tell where it's going to go. And I think everyone was just kind of taking the wait and see approach the past 2 years and doing 12-month deals. But I tend to agree.
So let me ask you just one more question then. So the ones that are doing the 12-month deals, and then having to shop it again 6 months, 8 months later, and have you, in your experience, seen any of those go down?
Yeah, all the ones that signed last year were in the high 80s. They might see a $1 or $2 relief this time around. So it's not, it hadn't gone up. And had they signed a 24-month last year, it would probably been $2 or $3 higher. So all told, it's probably a savings of $4 to $5 this time around than had they done, say, a 24-month last year as opposed to a 12. Is it a big deal? I mean, it's a couple bucks a month per resident, but in aggregate times 7,500, it's a lot of money.
Yes, sir. And on a fixed income,
Sure, yeah.
it's considerable. Yes, sir. Okay, thank you.
Sure.
So, okay, maybe I misunderstood. So if we sign up for 36 months and then the rates come down before that 36 months, we are locked in for that 36 months. We can't cancel that to re-sign up for the lower.
Yeah, the
lower
city
price.
aggregation contract, because
It's
there's
locked.
really two contracts we're talking about here. There's one between the supplier and the city,
Yeah.
and then there's one between the supplier and the end-use customer. That end-use customer
They have the
will have a zero ETF. They can always go out
But now
and
we
shop
just
on their own.
Okay.
But the city's contract is, you're right, you'd be locked into that.
So in reality, there's no risk to the residents, or the users, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, the risk is that if the entire market makes a run, then there won't be any mass market offers for them to fall back on. But in that instance, you will have locked in a rate and you'll be better off with the ag program anyway.
Right,
But
right. That's basically
There's,
what I'm
there's
saying.
some risk mitigation to having the ETF, no zero early term fee there, which
Right.
I like.
I have a process question. I'm still trying to understand this. If we agree next month to lock in a price, that price will be approximately, or how will two things. How will that price be calculated? And two, how do we know that that price is still going to be good in June of '26?
The price is calculated by the supplier, so they have a energy charge, they have a capacity charge, those are both set. You could either use your own generation, some suppliers own their own generation, other suppliers purchase it from the market. So PJM, the Pennsylvania Jersey Interconnect, is a big grid that we live in. All generators in here sell their power into the grid, and then you could buy it out of that market, unless you're backed by generation, you want to sell your own generation. I think most of the suppliers, the big ones, they sell their power into the grid, and then the suppliers buy their power off of the grid. That's why it's based, your energy price is based on weather and time of day and supply and demand and all that. And then the second part of your question, I'm sorry.
Okay, well,
Oh,
all
how
right,
do you
I get the
know?
process on how it's calculated, but you had mentioned $87 power, or some number like that.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Currently, that's where.
Okay,
where
so
we're
that
at.
would be 87 cents per kilowatt hour?
No, it's 8.7 cents a kilowatt hour, $87 a megawatt hour.
Okay, so 8.7, all right, so let's, for conversation purposes here, let's say that's the number, 8.7 cents a kilowatt hour. How can, and we sign that next month.
Mm-hmm.
How can we be sure that that's still going to be good? Like,
Well-
because I'm thinking here, if we sign up for this low number and the producers can't come down to that number, that everything they're making is 10 cents an hour, for example.
Yeah.
How do we know we're going to be locked into that? Or
So-
how are they going to say, nah, never mind?
Yeah, so
Done.
they will buy that power the minute the contract is signed. So they will buy that block of power to facilitate that contract at the time the contract is signed, based on energy prices that day.
That's
So
a
they're not
future-
buying
yeah,
it.
Future contracts.
Okay,
Right.
future
Future
contract, and
contract.
they'll buy how many ever gigawatts of power that is for the city for whatever the term is,
12, 24, or 36.
whatever we sign up for.
Correct, yeah,
Okay, all right, so then it would be the suppliers who are locked into that then.
correct.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And then they would obviously be in breach if they didn't, and then you could, Mr. Coyne would probably be a better person to answer that question on what you do
Yeah,
next.
I know they buy it, it's like gas, right?
Yeah.
That's what the people do, they buy the supply of gas with future contracts, and
Yep.
they
They'll
all
hedge it,
believe it's gonna happen, if they can make money or lose money.
yeah.
I just know in this last contract that we're still on now, I've had, I believe it was 3, it might have only been 2 people that called and said that they were opting out and wanted to know if they were gonna be penalized. I said, no. And, I said, you can also, if you've shopped around and you found a better price, if that price doesn't last, you can always opt back in.
Right.
And within 2 of them, and I think there might have been 3, 2 of them actually called back within 6 months and said, oh, we opted back in. I said, well, yeah, thanks for telling me, but,
Yeah.
I mean, I have nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
But, so I think it has been really a good deal for our residents.
Yeah, it's, back to my aggregation days, usually about 85% of a community will participate in the aggregation program and never shop. So it's always good to have one for the
Right.
residents that are never going to shop anyways. And generally speaking, the aggregation program is usually, not always, but usually better than anything they can get on the mass market. Now, over a period of 3 years to 4 years, sometimes there's periods where
Fluctuation,
there's a dip
yeah.
in the market and you can get a little bit better, and that's why there's no ETF. They can
Yeah.
go out and do that.
But I found it amazing, like I said, I can't,
Yeah.
again, I can't remember if it was 3, but I know it was at least 2 that for some reason felt that they needed to call me and tell me that they were opting out. And then, again, within a 6-month period, they called, both of
Yeah.
them, or 3 of them called and said that they had opted back in and thanked me for making it available to them. And of course, I took the credit. And I said,
Yeah,
but no, I mean, so, out of all the residents that we have, and I'm sure there's people that opt in and opt out all the time that don't notify their council representative or the administration. But I think that the majority of the residents, either one, have no idea that they're in this aggregation, or they're happy with it, so.
Yeah.
Thank you for your help.
Other questions? All right, I guess we gotta think about it and get back to you. You know anything?
Yeah, I just want to say, I appreciate Ben's help, and the council asked some great questions, and Ben knows the business very well. And Jim's question was good as well, when Jim asked why Ben. Well, I could tell you, in all my years here dealing with the aggregation program, Mayor will tell you, we get a lot of phone calls with folks that don't understand it and had issues with their account. Well, as a city representative, it's their account with Ohio Edison First Energy, so we can't call Ohio Edison First Energy as the provider and discuss it. So Ben was our go-to guy, and I can tell you his work ethic, he followed through with every person that had an issue in their account, and that's just his work ethic, impeccable, so I appreciate that.
thanks, Steve.
All right, anything else?
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, thanks for having me.
I think with that, the meeting is adjourned. 15 minutes. Okay, we're ready to start. Welcome. I'd like to call this September 22nd, 2025 council meeting to order. If you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Rose.
Here.
Shields.
Here.
Simmons.
Here.
Simpson.
Here.
Coin.
Here.
DeSalvo.
Here.
Hare.
Here.
Reading of the minutes. Mr. Shields.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of September 8th, 2025, as modified. I think, Kathy, you sent out a new version of those,
Yes.
Yes.
Well, yes.
as modified.
Second.
Any discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the minutes?
Shields.
Yes.
Simmons.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Reports of standing committees. The Finance Committee met prior to council this evening, and we'll meet again, not in 2 weeks, because it's a holiday, a day after on Tuesday. Health, Safety, and Sanitation, Mr. Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled, nothing to report.
Public Properties, Mr. Shields.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled, no report this evening.
Special Legislation, Mr. Rose.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled and nothing to report.
Streets and Sidewalks, Ms. Hare.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no meeting scheduled and nothing to report. However, I've been getting some comments from constituents about our busy roads, and I would like to work with our clerk of courts and committee members and administration to set up a meeting in the near future to talk about some of those issues. Thank you.
Thank you. Water and Utilities, Mr. Simmons.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled and nothing to report.
Emerging Technologies, Mrs. DeSalvo.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled yet, but there will be one coming up in October where we are going to be reviewing the launch for the new city website, I believe.
Thank you. All right, requests for council action. We have several for the Finance Committee. We have 25-181, zoning map amendment for professional building. 25-182, resolution of support, Medina County Park District proposed levy. 25-183, electric aggregation program. 25-184, expenditure for Lake County Sewer Company, Street Department. 25-185, 2026 bid, material bids. 25-186, bids for job number 1160 Blake Avenue reconstruction. 25-187, MOU with Medina County Job 1160 Blake Avenue reconstruction. 25-188, preliminary agreement with Wing on Lake Erie Railroad Blake Avenue. 25-189, amend ordinance 9725, bids for job number 1151 US 42 resurfacing. And 25-190, accept easements for 549 South Court Street. Reports of municipal officers. Mayor Hamel.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to start with wishing happy anniversary to Pat and Kathy Patton. They chose to spend their anniversary
My life story.
with us here this evening, and we're glad to have them here.
Take her on a date.
The upcoming square events, Farmers Market's going to be wrapping up. There's another one on this coming Saturday, September 27th, and then the last one, October 4th. The annual Suicide Prevention Walk by Alternative Paths was yesterday from noon to 3:30, and they seem to have a good crowd for that. American Cancer Society Lights of Hope is coming up on September 26th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Medina Fall Festival is Saturday, September 27th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And Scouting America is having an outdoor cooking expo on the square, September 28th from noon to 3 p.m. And last but not least, Main Street Medina Cars and Coffee is October 12th from 8 a.m. till noon. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Durham, Director of Finance.
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't have anything.
Thank you. Mr. Huber, Law Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you. Chief Kinney, Police Department.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Mr. Bacoli, Service Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. Real quick, congratulations to Pat and Kathy, 35 years. Kathy, you're a heck of a gal. 35 years. So our city auction is Saturday, October 25th at the City Garage. That's at 781 West Smith Road. Starts at 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock is preview, and everybody's favorite, the leaf program. We're not sure at this point, depending on how the leaves fall, possibly the second week of October, October 13th, maybe the week after, it just depends. There'll be more information forthcoming. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gladys, Building Official.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you. Mr. Worley, Parks and Recreation Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report this evening.
Mr. Patton, City Engineer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just wanted to touch on our water line project we just completed on West Liberty, South Elmwood, West Washington. It's substantially complete. I'd like to thank everyone for their cooperation. One remaining item to be completed is the pavement markings. We expect those to be installed within the next week or two, weather permitting.
Thank you. Chief Walters, Fire Department.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Mr. Dutton, Planning Community Development Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. The city is seeking an individual to join the Board of Zoning Appeals as an alternate member. The board, made up entirely of Medina City residents, plays a crucial role in reviewing applications for variances and zoning appeals. For more information and to make an application by Friday, October 3rd, please go to medinaoh.org/city-hall/planning-zoning. Thank you.
Thank you. Notices, communications, petitions, there are none. There's no unfinished business. Introduction of visitors. Members of the public will be permitted the opportunity to speak on any issue or concern which pertains to the city during the portion of the council agenda devoted to introduction of visitors. All comments shall be directed to the chair, and a reasonable time of approximately 5 minutes will be imposed. If there's a group, please appoint a spokesperson. Speakers should approach the rear microphone and state their name and address so it can be entered into the minutes. Members of the public will be afforded the opportunity to comment on other portions of the meeting as determined by the chair or by a vote of the majority of council members present. Is there anybody that wishes to address council at this time? Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Andrew West. I live at 661 West Sturbridge. I've been a Medina City resident for over 25 years, and just for full disclosure, I am on the current Medina City School Board, but that's not why I'm here. Every morning when I go to work, I drive past AI Route and go up Court Street, and I've seen it for a long time. I see a lot of people, my boys went to Route, walked to school. I see a lot of kids walking to school. I'm very cognizant when I'm driving to make sure I'm watching for the kids because they don't watch for the cars. But I see a lot of cars blowing stop signs. 3 times in the last 8 weeks, I've stopped at Sturbridge and Route 3, and 3 times I've seen large semi-trucks literally go through a red light, and it's not close. It's my light turns green, and I wait 3 or 4 seconds, and then a truck goes through. I worry about our kids. If my boys were still young, I'd be worrying about them. I know it's tough. You can only stop people if you see them. I get it. I'm just hoping that there's something that the city can do, maybe taking a hard look at it. I don't know. I'm just, bringing this. I see this every morning. It's not a rare occurrence. It's frequently. I talk to neighbors. We see it in our neighborhoods all over. And in fact, walking up to the building this evening, a car out here came up to the stop sign, slowed down a little bit, and went right through the stop sign. Never stopped, just blew through it. I'm concerned for our kids, especially in the morning and the afternoon. The other thing I've seen a lot of is, and I don't know what the laws are, but the electric scooters, bikes that are on the road. I've literally seen kids going up and down Sturbridge well in excess of the speed limit. And one evening I watched a young man go up the street, pull a wheelie, go ride the wheelie all the way up the street. He came back, he did it a second time, and he did it a third time. I'm not the only one that has seen that. So I'm hoping that there's something that you guys can maybe start looking at I don't know what that answer is. I get it. But, I just don't want somebody to get hurt.
Well, yeah, thank you. And I guess, Chief Kenny, can you just reiterate again the policy of the electric scooters and electric bikes again? So I know you did it last meeting, just so everybody's aware again of what the rules are.
I did. There's the e-bikes. Most people are complaining about the e-bikes being on the sidewalks. And really, that's the only regulation that we have, that the e-bikes are not allowed to be on the sidewalk if they're on electric power.
Correct.
So they can only pedal. It has to be human power, and they're allowed on the sidewalks, just like a regular bicycle. They're allowed to operate the bikes on the roadway under electric power, but they also have to follow all the rules of the road.
Yeah, and I knew that. I've seen, and they're obviously young kids, and they are going a bat out of hell and not wearing helmets. I don't know if that's part of the law or not. But what was really concerning was watching the kid pull a wheelie and ride all the way up Sturbridge to the next intersection, and he came back about 5 minutes later the second time. Now I get it, and if you see him, I'm sure you guys will stop him.
Mm-hmm.
I just happened to see it. My part of Sturbridge, I'm almost off of Ryan. It's a speeding, people speed through there all the time, and the kids are doing it too. So I've seen it enough. I just wanted to come tonight to talk to you guys. Maybe there's something you guys can do or look at. If not, I get it. Just wanted to come and say that. But I do see that in the morning, especially around Route, at all the stop signs, I see people blowing the stop signs, blowing the red lights. At Sturbridge and Route 3, I literally, one morning was going to go turn green. I waited about 3 seconds, and a semi-truck went all the way through the intersection. If I'd have gone, I would have gotten T-boned. I probably would have been dead. So I'm very cognizant of that, and it wasn't even close. I get it if it was close, but this wasn't close. So anyways, I just wanted to bring that up. That's what I've observed.
Well, thank you for the information. Thank you. Is there anybody else that wishes to address council this evening? Yes.
Good evening, Council. Brian Dreiss, 1246 Ty Drive in the city. I just wanted to speak tonight briefly on September 11th of this year. 2 young women from the city decided that they were compelled to honor someone that kind of shaped their political beliefs. Initially, these 2 thought that this would be a small little gathering on the square, maybe a couple dozen people would show up. Through positive use of social media, it grew quite a bit. So I want to just take a moment and thank Mayor Hanwell for his guidance in helping these 2 organize this event. A special shout out to Chief Kenny for being there, providing some additional eyes on the crowd. And most importantly, I think I want to thank the people who may not have agreed with that message, but either chose not to come or chose to protest peacefully and silently, because according to the reports that I got, there were over 6,000 people at the square on the 14th, and there were no issues reported. I think the city of Medina really needs to be very proud of itself, whether you believe what we believe or not. I think that the city needs to be very proud of itself. It set an example on that night. And quite frankly, I believe that this is what the Founding Fathers meant when they enumerated free speech as one in the first in the Bill of Rights. That's really all I had to say. Is I just think the city needs to be proud of itself. Thank you to Mayor Hanwell, Chief Kenny, and his team for providing some guidance and support. Thanks.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that wishes to address council this evening? Okay. Introduction and considerations of ordinances and resolutions. At this time, I'd entertain a motion to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings on the following ordinances and resolutions. Ordinance 15325, 15425, 15525, 15625, and Resolution 15725.
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields.
I'll make a motion to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings of tonight's ordinances and resolutions.
Second?
Any discussion on a motion to suspend the rules? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Simmons.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Ordinance 15325, an ordinance authorizing the expenditure of $5,000 to Medina County Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, SPCA, for the Medina Meow Fix, Trap, Neuter, and Release Program.
Move to approve as updated.
Second?
Discussion? Mr. Rose?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This, again, is something that the SPCA is more than willing to work with Meowfix to help reduce the cat population in town, if you will. And they did set some parameters this time around, and Kathy did update the ordinance to include those parameters, so thank you very much. And I think this is going to be, after seeing some of those charts, I think this will be money well spent.
Yes, this program was in existence for 2 years prior with the same amount of contribution from the city of Medina, and I believe it was quite successful in catching, neutering, and releasing the feral cats in our community, and it is making an impact. Again, it just takes time because as we do the process, more people seem to let their cats out, and it causes more issues. But I think we're trying to get ahead of it, and I think it's been working well. And I think this is money well spent, as you said, Mr. Rose, to continue this process. Anybody else have any questions? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simmons.
Yes.
Ordinance 153-25 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 15425, ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a task order number 2 to the agreement with Delta Airport Consultants, Inc. for professional services at the Medina Municipal Airport relative to the airport DBE program and goal.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion. Who's this? Mr. Patton?
Yeah, thank you. We utilize FAA funds for a lot of projects at the airport. The FAA has a requirement that we have to update our DBE program every 3 years. This is what this request is about. I would note the FAA does pay 95% of the cost of this report, this update.
Thank you. Any further questions? Clerk, please call the roll.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simmons.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Ordinance 154-25 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 15525, ordinance authorizing the mayor to accept 2 temporary easements necessary for the Prospect Street Bridge project.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion?
Mr. President.
Mr. Shields?
The emergency clause has been requested. I move to add at this time.
My second includes emergency clause?
Discussion on emergency clause and ordinance, Mr. Patton.
Thank you. We need a total of 4 easements to complete the Prospect Street Bridge project. We've already acquired 2, so these are the remaining 2. We're requesting the emergency clause because these council previously passed the appraisal, and these people have signed, and we'd like to get this recorded as soon as possible.
Any further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll on the adoption of the emergency clause.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simmons.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Clerk, please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance.
Hare.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simmons.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Ordinance 155-25 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 15625, ordinance authorizing the purchase of 1 2025 Ford F-150 pickup truck and 1 2026 Ford F-250 crew cab pickup from Montrose Ford to be used by the street department.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion, Mr. Pacoli.
Thank you, Mr. President. The F-150 will be replacing a 2008 GMC 1500, and the F-250, which is a 3/4 ton, will be replacing a 2011 GMC, and that'll be used for plowing and snow and ice events.
Any further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simmons.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Ordinance 156-25 passes 7-0.
Resolution 15725, a resolution accepting the donation of a universal changing table from Foundations Worldwide, Inc., and signage donation from the Medina County Board of Development Disabilities for the Medina Community Recreation Center.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion, Mr. Worley.
Thank you, Mr. President. Earlier this year, the rec center had some discussions with Medina County Board of Developmental Disabilities about putting in an adult changing table in one of our family changing rooms at the rec center. Recently, Foundations Worldwide graciously donated, or contacted us, was interested in donating a changing table valued at $10,500. Medina County Board of Developmental Disabilities is going to provide the signage for that, and collaboratively with the Medina City Schools maintenance team, we're going to get that installed in a family changing room to improve accessibility.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Mr. President.
Mr. Shields?
I just wanted to thank the rec center for taking the lead on this, and I mean, it's a really very generous gift and a great collaboration between the rec center, the Board of Developmental Disabilities, as well as Foundations located here to donate this. And then we know from the MRDD that at our Art in the Park and our different things with their mobile changing station, how much of a need there is. So this is just a great collaboration, a lot of people coming together, and I appreciate the rec center taking the lead on it, and that we were able to have somebody so generously donate it.
Any other questions? Clerk, please call roll on the adoption of the resolution.
Shields.
Yes.
Simmons.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Resolution 15725 passes 7-0.
Council comments. Mr. Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, I'm going to get on my bully pulpit and talk about being kind to one another. There's so many things. I mean, there's not a day that goes by that we don't hear on the local news, national news, or read in the newspapers. I don't pay much attention to the social media, the internet and Facebook and those type of things. But I think as a society, we need to demand at least from our elected officials, starting at the federal government, state government, and our local government. And I don't know, and believe me, I don't notice this from our local government, but sometimes at the state and definitely at the federal level, they feel it's okay to talk poorly about people. And I think as Americans that we should ask better of our elected representatives. So just try to enforce being kind to one another. It's an easy thing to do. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Ms. Hare?
I'm going to touch on what Denny has just said, but I want to preface what I'm going to read by saying I don't like to be political at the end of council meetings. I like to keep things informative and light, but I now feel compelled, in light of what is going on in our society, to say the following. And I have a tendency to write things down because I don't want to miss anything. And so I'm going to read something that I put together today. There's a lot of ugliness going on in our country right now that continues to divide us as a nation. That divisiveness, unfortunately, is everywhere, from our big cities to our local neighborhoods, and I'm sad to say sometimes it includes our city of Medina. And that hot topic of concern at the moment is free speech. As many of you know, I'm running for re-election to keep my Ward 3 council seat, and I have signs in my yard, but not only for my race, but for others as well. Last night, half of those yard signs were taken down, damaged, and even destroyed. I'd like to say this was the first time that this has happened in my yard, but it is not, and it's not the second time that this has happened. Whoever's doing this, please stop. I took a vow as a council member to uphold the United States Constitution, which I respect and believe in, and I absolutely believe in free speech for everyone. It should not be acceptable in our country to have the mentality of free speech for me, but not for thee. As a result of last night's activities, I will be getting security cameras for my property, something that I never thought I would have to do in this community. As a society, we need to do better. We need to be better. Let's stop the hypocrisy, the hatred, and the violence, and let's be kind and respectful to others, even if they don't agree with us. Let's protect and support the Constitution and everyone's peaceful right to free speech. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Salvo?
Okay, so I'm going to lighten it up just a little bit. Mr. West, I completely understand your frustration. I live on the other side of Route 57, and the motor scooters that are on the street that do not follow the same traffic regulations that we all have to follow concern me a lot too. Because if I know, there's a gentleman who rides his scooter with his backpack on there down the street, down Guilford. I stop at the stop signs. If I'm not paying attention and I turn right and he's blowing through that stop sign, he's going to run into my car, and I'm going to be the one at fault. So I completely understand your concerns, and I'm sure we're going to all do our best to make sure we're looking out for our students as they're walking to school. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Rose?
Thank you. Reggie, I agree. We need to cool the rhetoric. The political signs out in the yard, anybody drive by my house, the people who drive by my house, they do it for one of two reasons, to see who to vote for or who not to vote for, depending on which side you're on. But nobody messes my signs, and I honestly disagree 100% with destroying anybody's signs. I don't care who you are. That is a right to support who you wish. And the rhetoric from Washington, especially from a few individuals who like to hear themselves talk, I firmly believe is a contributing factor to Charlie Kirk's death. And that should never, ever, ever be. And how prophetic, and no, that's the wrong choice of words, but, to think that 36 hours after I said that we need to get prayer back in school, Charlie Kirk was dead for doing just that. People are just not, they're no longer being nurtured the way they should be to be able to make those decisions for themselves later on in life. And we need to get back to those basics. Respect, responsibility, reading, writing, arithmetic, none of this other balamoot until you get out 18 and on your own. And for those parents who are a little concerned, there's a school that maybe you can look into if you don't think your kids are getting the right foundation to be able to make those decisions later on. There's Northeast Ohio Classical Academy. Look into it. It's at 137 Heritage Woods Drive in Copley. It's a it's a tuition-free charter school. Maybe we need to get some competition with the schools so that those kids who want to have that foundation will go to those schools, and maybe we can elevate the public schools to this level of responsibility and accountability for their actions. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? All right, with that, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you for coming.